Good morning, everyone. I have a video that I am very excited to share with you today, and hopefully you'll find it exciting as well. So I'd like to do an ink exploration video with two very special objects. One is, let's let that car pass. Just taking their sweet time. One is this Wahl-Eversharp Gregg pen. So I'll show you up close what the finial looks like. It is a Wahl-Eversharp number 2 nib, manifold nib. And a manifold nib was designed to allow for carbon copies. The nib is really stiff, so you could create several layers of duplicates. And then the book that I will be reading from today is actually the Gregg Shorthand textbook. So these two things kind of go really well together. And I hope you enjoy this little piece of history. Thank you guys for watching. We'll just take a quick look at the book first. So shorthand is a series of symbols that represent phonemes or sounds. So you don't actually write down words, you write down the sounds of the words, and as you read those sounds, the words then form. So it is dependent on context as well as just being able to put those sounds together. I do not know really anything about shorthand. I've never tried it myself, but that's the gist of it as far as my understanding goes. Of course, I have inky fingers as always. And this pen, because it is designed for rapid movement, it feels very much like I would imagine driving a Porsche would feel like, in which it just really wants to go fast, and to kind of hold back would be a shame. So I didn't speed up this video. I'm not writing particularly fast, but it does make me want to write really fast. I feel like a horse behind a gate right before a race, wanting to go super fast. It does make my cursive a little bit longer, more like longhand, ironically. Preface. The endeavor of the author has been to compile a system so simple as to be readily acquired by the humblest capacity, and those of little leisure, and yet rapid enough to reproduce verbatim the fastest oratory. In presenting his work to the public, he asks for nothing beyond an impartial investigation, and with perfect confidence awaits the results. About Gregg Shorthand. History. Gregg Shorthand was first published in 1888 in 2 little paper-covered pamphlets under the title Light Line Phonography. 5 years later, a revised and greatly improved edition was published under the title Gregg Shorthand. It was not until 1897, however, that the author was able to publish the system in book form. There are few more interesting or inspiring stories of success than the career of Gregg Shorthand in the 20 years that have elapsed since its publication in book form. But a textbook is not an appropriate place for such a story. Suffice it to say that today, Gregg Shorthand is the standard shorthand system of America. It is taught in more than 4,000 schools, that is to say, in more than 70% of schools which teach shorthand. It has been adopted in the public schools of 1,925 cities and has superseded the older systems in most of these cities by formal action of boards of education after careful investigation. Recent public triumphs. In 1910, a writer of Gregg Shorthand, Mr. Fred H. Gertler, won the final contest for the famous Minor Medal under the auspices of the Eastern Commercial Teachers Association at Washington, D.C. There were 18 contestants, 14 Pitmanic writers, and 4 Gregg writers. Gregg writers won first, second, and third places. All of the Gregg writers qualified. 10 of the 14 Pitmanic writers were disqualified for inaccuracy or failed to transcribe their notes. In 1911, in the shorthand speed contests held by the National Shorthand Reporters Association at Buffalo, a writer of Gregg Shorthand, Mr. Charles L. Swem, then 18 years of age, established the highest world's record for accuracy of transcript on solid, difficult matter, a speech by Lord Rosebery. by writing 170 words a minute for 5 minutes and transcribing them with but 3 slight errors. In the contest on a judge's charge to the jury, which was dictated for 15 minutes at the rate of 240 words a minute, Mr. Swem made but 15 errors in transcribing, 237 words a minute net for 5 minutes, and exceeded the previous world's record on this kind of matter by 10 words a minute. The previous record was held by an official court reporter of 20 years' experience, but Mr. Swem had never reported in court. In the contest, 2 other writers of Gregg Shorthand, Miss Werning and Miss Tarr, were awarded certificates for 206 and 205 words a minute, respectively. The contest committee consisted of 14 reporters, all of whom were writers of old-time shaded systems. In 1912, at the speed contests of the National Shorthand Reporters Association held in New York City, Mr. Swem established a record of 268 words a minute for 5 minutes on testimony, and defeated 3 of the former champions, as well as 18 other contestants, all of them experienced reporters. And with that, I will leave you. I hope that you enjoyed this little bit of history. Thank you all for watching.